it's everything. It's what we're communicating, and can the coaches and everyone on the team communicate a good and consistent message, which the next one could be, hey, I hurt my back. I want to cancel my membership. Like, what did we say to that person? Well, now you can put that on IDS and be like, hey, let's role play. How do you have that conversation? So like literally anything and everything is fair game. But that's how I think we've been able to raise the client experience.
Welcome to the Fitness CEO Podcast.
What else in terms of the mechanics? Can I kind of open up that question?
Yeah.
I think
so
you want
the
to break it down.
three big things that I like to make sure we cover in the meeting, like in general or in the IDS section, is communication. So get everyone on the same page. Like everyone has to be aligned. No confusion on like stuff that's coming up, like how we do things, like issues with clients, everything and anything. All the coaches need to know exactly what they're doing.
And let me interject here a little bit. And you talk about communication. That was like a general term, but specifically one thing you said earlier in the show was about announcements, right? And is it something you dive in here?
Yeah, for sure.
And let me interject on my perspective, and I'm curious on yours, but one thing, without your coaches having like a very clear understanding of the announcements, how to make those announcements, and I've been guilty of this, it's like, okay, cool, just give a high level understanding of the team or communication, what needs to be communicated. But George, what's broken down for me, and I know many other gym owners, is okay, you can give like a general overview, but really when that each individual coach takes that information and actually breaks it down and communicates, it comes out very, very differently. And you can have very, very different results, which can be problematic, especially if you're trying to promote an event or a challenge or a nutrition coaching program where you're trying to drive results. So for me, that specific piece and just giving our audience some guidance, especially if you haven't been in the gym industry and you're becoming a gym owner, that's very important to make sure that your coaches are all clear in the communication, can articulate the message in the same way.
That is 100% it. And that is what not only we talk about, but then we can literally role play in this meeting. So I'll give you a silly example. We got the FBC like sweat towels, right? And we're going to start selling those. This was a couple months ago. And I was like, all right, sweet. We have these towels. Like, you guys make sure we announce it.
And left it at that.
And left it at that.
Which I've been, I know where this is going, not specifically, but I've been there, done that, and it typically doesn't end well, but continue on.
No, for sure. And it seems funny, but it also is like, for me, the ultimate cringe, because we literally had a coach like on the mic at the end of a session say the exact words. I don't remember all the words, but it was sweat rag for sale, right? Something to that effect. So that's like,
sign me up, Coach George.
So silly and so simple. Like, they should just be able to figure it out. But I don't want to say they can't, but they need direction. They need guidance. Like, how are we? Because it is literally a sale then, and that's where it gets like exponentially better. Like, you're selling it. This is our brand new microfiber FBC towel. It's so soft. You can, if you're sweating all over, you go grab one of these from the front desk. It's only $12, right? And like, just literally go around and make them say like, hey, you're on the mic, end of session. How are you announcing that we have a new flavor of protein? Like, how are we actually going to announce that?
And you, week? George, you actually will execute role play to hear them get feedback and give them feedback.
Oh yeah. 100%.
My friends, I'm going to pause here. Like, this is so little, but my brother Barrett actually always says this quote, big doors swing on little hinges. And this is a little hinge that opens up a big door, not only in terms of towel sales, nutrition sales, t-shirt sales, merchandise sales, just making sure that your team's on the same page. Because it's not the person, it typically comes from the leadership and the communication. And of course, we have a lot of trials and tribulations and battle scars, if you will. But I just want to take a second to highlight, because that's so important.
And that's like a $12 example, but it's everything. It's what we're communicating, and can the coaches and everyone on the team communicate a good and consistent message, which the next one could be like, hey, I hurt my back. I want to cancel my membership. Like, what did we say to that person? Well, now you can put that on IDS and be like, hey, let's role play. How do you have that conversation? So like, literally anything and everything is fair game. But that's how I think we've been able to raise the client experience, because before we might have a training, like a once in a blue moon, oh my gosh, we need to have a quarterly team meeting, or like, we're going to talk about something. Or maybe you have communicated and trained one or two people on your team really well, but then
not the rest
of them.
Yeah.
And then my favorite one, and the last part, is when you have someone new come on your team, or when you have turnover with your coaches, it can feel like you have to, start over and like add in all this stuff and do all this training. But if you have a regular, again, like almost like a curriculum of going through the questions, teaching them how to do these things, where does it happen in the Coaches L10 every week, no matter what, they come in, they join the meetings, and they're indoctrinated like just naturally.
Hey, my friend, hopefully you love that short teaser of the recent episode on the Fitness CEO podcast. To check out the full episode, it will be dropping shortly. But in the meantime, there's some other episodes around here that you need to see.